Okay, you guys have an example on day 1. If that example didn't help you that much, I'm going to do another example step by step, so hopefully you're able to complete the entire worksheet. The very first thing you want to do is make sure that you are separating your equations. So I'm only going to write information for my first equation and only worry about graphing that one. Remember that this is in slope-intercept form, which is your y equals mx plus b form. So you should be able to match up everything, what your m is, what your b is. You always got to begin with your b. Your b is going to be that positive 2. Your m is lined up with that negative 3. But remember, one of these has to always be a fraction. Your b is a point on your y-axis. Your m is your slope, so that's the one you need directions for. You need the rise over run. So how do I make that a fraction? It's a whole number. You just go ahead and put it over 1. And then remember, we can always go the opposite direction. So instead of negative 3, positive 3, instead of positive 1, negative 1. So I can rise negative 3, which means go down 3, and run positive 1, which means go to the right, or the opposite, which is going up 3 and to the left 1. Okay, so my B, it's on my y-axis. So I go to positive 2 on my y-axis. That's going to be my first point. How do I get to my next point? I follow my slope starting at this point right here. How do I get to my next one? Well, I go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and I go to the right one because it's positive 1 at the bottom, and then I end up at this point. That's where you're going to actually make your mark. Okay, and then just get a ruler and draw your straight line. Close enough for me. Okay, and then now you can actually start doing work for your second line. So after your first one is plotted, that's when you go into making your second one. We have y equals 3x minus 4. Again, identify your b first. That's what you're going to begin with. So this is y equals mx plus b. So here's my b, my negative 4. And then m will be my positive 3, but we need that to be rise over run, so it's going to be 3 over 1. Or the opposite direction, which is negative 3 over negative 1. Okay, and I'm going to make that in a different color. So start with your b at negative 4. So I go to my y-axis because it's my y-intercept. And I'm at negative 4. And then my slope tells me to go up 3 because it's positive 3, and to the right 1 because it's positive 1. So I go from here, go up 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 1. So I'm going to end up at that point. And then remember, if you're having trouble drawing a line, you don't have a ruler, your straight edge isn't working that well, you can always keep going. So just like I went from here, went up 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 1, I can keep doing that. Rise from this point, 1, 2, 3, run 1. Rise 1, 2, 3, run 1. And then all of these points would be points on your line, which, as you can see, they would end up connecting all on the same line. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and over 1, up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And then that way I can make a better line. Just kidding. There we go. And then remember that your solution is that point where they cross. So your solution will be this point right here where they cross, which remember we got to read it as x comma y. So on my x-axis, I'm at 1, and then my y-axis I'm at -1. So it's 1 comma -1, and there's your solution.